Hi everybody, welcome to Old Bookworm's channel on this bright and sunny Saturday. Well, at least here it is, and it is a sweltering 33 degrees outside. I washed my bedding, and the bed sheet, for instance, dries as you hang it. By the time my duvet is washed, I could likely take my pillowcases and sheets down again. Anyway, I know you are sitting on the edge of your seats. Well, yesterday I was looking through the Epstein photographs, and among them were two with a bloke called Sergey Brin. Okay, I thought I heard that name before, and I could not immediately think where. Remember, I'm 60 plus and not 16, but it clicked very quickly. Sergey Brin is the co-founder of Google. He found Google along with Larry Page. I mean, honestly, how could anyone forget that? That is like taking part in a television quiz and you know all the answers to the hardest questions, and then they ask you 2 times 2, and you go, huh, and your mouth hangs open. Well, I want to take a minute and just tell you a tiny bit about our man, Sergey. Well, I think there is a lot to say about him, but why bother if only the basics really matter to certain people? Sergey Brin is 52 years old, married twice, and he has 3 children. He is a Democrat who had donated millions to the party, but I guess the President Kamala Harris was just a little too much for him, and although it is not widely known, it appears that he supported Trump in the last election. Well, he did attend Trump's inauguration. The other important piece of information would be that Sergey Brin is worth 229.7 billion with a B US dollars. He is the 4th richest person in the entire world as of 3 December 2025, when this list was actually compiled. And he is even richer than Jeff Bezos. Okay, so it appears that Sergey and Jeffrey Epstein were doing business. You can have a look at the headlines or go Google the articles. I'm not going to go into that right now, not important for this particular video. What else Sergey and Jeffrey got up to, I don't know, and I don't particularly want to know. There are clear photographs of Bill Gates with girls, clear photographs of Andrew and Bill Clinton with girls, but I haven't seen any of Sergey Brin and girls, not so far. But that also is not why I'm here. I learned something over the last few days. There is the normal web, like we are using every day, and it's called the surface web. And obviously this is public, it has searchable content, for instance, Google, Facebook, and so on. Then we get the deep web with private, unindexed content, like banking, email, etc. Then there's the dark web, which is an anonymous part of the deep web requiring special tools for illicit activities and privacy. And then there is the grey web, which absolutely come as a surprise. I knew about everything else, but I did not know that there was a grey web. I never heard of the grey web before. I asked Dragon Man, and he did not even know what it was. And that, my dear friends, says a lot. Anyway, the internet explains the grey web as follows. It is surface content used for illegal sharing. For instance, hacker forums, pirated media, etc., etc. But it is also accessible without special browsers, sitting somewhere between the dark web and the normal web in as far as risk in particular. Well, now sometimes one accidentally goes where few others have gone before, and when you realize you have gone off the beaten path, it is actually too late. Anyway, I'm not going to go through how I landed where I landed, but I read something about our Montecito Hawkles, which, yeah, how do I say this? I did not find it surprising, but I did find it surprising. Difficult to explain. But again, I have to make a small detour just to create the link, okay? Remember that Google camp where Harry spoke about mental health and conservation? Yes, the same one everyone either flew to in a private jet or sailed to in a luxury yacht. Of course, Harry chose a private jet. But never mind. These so-called camps, or they are now just called Google camps, is where Harry met Sergey. Now, it is said that Harry and Sergey are not exactly, tight mates, but they have come across each other on a friendly way a couple of times to talk about online safety and whatever else. Well, Sergey Brin divorced his second wife, Nicole Shanahan, in 2023. So old Sergey is a single man, although he still has a good relationship with his first wife, and they still run a business and a charity together. Okay, so enter the grey web. Remember how in October the stories about Harry and Meghan, again, because it wasn't the first time, but in October stories about them splitting up professionally surfaced again. Well, according to the grey web, Harry and Meghan also finally split up privately in October. Allegedly, Meghan is indeed trying to hang on until her next plan works out. Hence her flirty text to or about Harry at the polo. But allegedly, Harry said no more. Done. He is done. They have, however, agreed to keep up the pretense for a while, I guess until either has settled somewhere or with someone else, and that, my dear friends, is again where the grey web comes in. According to the article, Meghan made it known to someone that her next target is Google co-founder and billionaire, ta-da, Sergey Brin. Of course, she's not so dumb as to actually put it that way, but instead she's making it known that she finds him attractive and interesting and blah, 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 and apparently, allegedly, she is trying to pull him into some kind of business or charity stunt, but we all know it is just an excuse. Now, those of you who had been with me for a while may remember how I, at the time, told you how the marriage changed after the Queen passed away. Well, strangely, I was sharing this grey web information with someone who contributes to my content from time to time, not often, but from time to time. When she said to me that the marriage had been rocky since they returned after the Queen's funeral, but it was push and pull ever since. She says that strangely, it was not Meghan who would say something bad or negative about Harry, quite the opposite. But Harry sometimes let slip some unhappiness or dissatisfaction in his marriage. But the next time you see them, they look all cozy again, she says, until this year. According to her, Harry is seldom home, if at all, and now, since October, both of them had started to drop hints that the marriage is over. According to her, Meghan is trying to tie Harry down with a couple of new projects, but apparently it is not working. And if Sergey should walk in the front door, Meghan will kick Harry out the back door. Not that she really has to, because it appears that he had left all on his own in October. Now, I personally wish I could get hold of old Sergey. If I could, I would beg him to please take old Megsy for a song and a dance, just for a couple of months, just so we can get rid of her. Maybe King Charles will then give him an OBE or CBE too, for service to the nation and the Commonwealth. Okay, and before I go, JJ said that the latest news from London is that Harry will fly alone. Okay, well, we'll wait and see over the next few days. There aren't too many left before Christmas, so not too long to wait. Okay, and one last thing. The Prince and Princess of Wales released the photo for their Christmas card. A lovely family picture, all shiny and bright, happy out in nature. And then 2 or 3 hours later, Meghan dropped 3. Yes, 3 cards. One supposedly from Archwell, showing her and Harry at the Winter Invictus. One from the office of Prince Harry and Meghan, Duke and Duchess of Sussex, showing them pretending to make or pack food with the Where's Lily, Where's Archie set up. And then the third one, supposedly from the family, showing Meghan and Harry and the 2 children at a tiny wooden bridge. OMG, what a contrast to the Wales portrait. In William and Catherine's photograph, one can see the children's laughing faces, the relaxed and loving relationship between children and parents, and then there's Meghan's staged photo. Meghan's ugly feet, the dirt and the ugly shoes, the see-through dress and the terribly, terribly oily, dirty hair. Nauseating. And yes, I am talking about Meghan. Oh shit, and then we get poor Lily. She's wearing a cute, pretty dress. But why the heck the long socks with such a cool, summery dress and closed shoes? The shoes and socks do not go with that sleeveless, dainty little dress. Okay, so if you look at the picture, Meghan is in summer. Lily is in spring. Warm on top, cooler towards the bottom, half warm, half cool. Poor Archie is in full-blown winter with jeans and a sweater, and Harry in autumn because he can't decide whether he should have his sleeves up or down. But then your eyes go back to Meghan and Lily. Lily's hair look as dirty and unbrushed as her mother's. Bloody awful. I mean, geez, Louise, if you know your photograph will be taken, you make sure you and your child or children are clean, shiny like a brand new sixpence. I do not get this woman. I really, really don't. What is she playing at? That they are broke and poor and dirty, they can't afford water and soap and what? I don't understand it. Okay, guys, but in the meantime, I'm going to go, okay, and I shall see you back here tomorrow, if not, on Monday. Okay, guys, take care. Bye.